or so. So it's interesting. For the past few years, I've watched the graduating seniors give these speeches. Afterwards, I always ask myself what I'm going to say was my turn. I've always come up with a bunch of things, a lot of points I want to hit, but now it's my turn. I found that summarizing my 4 years here in PCC at this university has been one of the most difficult things I've done. I remember my first visit to the U of R like it was yesterday. I can't believe that was 4.5 years ago. I had, like most of you probably did, a large list of questions that I asked in order to learn more about the school. Questions like, what is your 4-year graduation rate? What is your student-to-teacher ratio? How many clubs do you have on campus? What are your general education requirements? And the most important one for me, well, I have to take a PE class. Thank God I didn't. I realize now that these questions are mostly pointless and the answers to them haven't defined my college career. In fact, it's barely contributed to it. It's interesting, though, that not a single question on my list involved the chapel or its religious services. Though I'd been to church a lot when I was younger through my teenage years, I didn't feel it was a priority or even a concern for me as an incoming freshman. However, for whatever reason, I found myself at the first DD of this freshman year. I don't remember the topic, but I do remember the pre-DD conversation. Lori had just gotten a new phone, and she wanted to tell us all about it. A conversation which she's repeated, I think, twice since then. I'm not entirely sure what got me to show up, but I'm really, really glad I did. A few days after my first DD, I found myself at the conference room hand-addressing dozens of envelopes with Lori to be sent out into the community. It was then that I had my first real discussion with her and realized how much she cared about PCC and its students. Since then, I found myself at almost every worship service, PCC event, and except for when I have classes, DDs. Many of you might not know this, but freshman year I applied to Nazareth College to transfer, and I got in and was all ready to send my deposit. Sorry, I'm really nervous. To become part of Nazareth College's class of 2013. There are a couple reasons why I didn't transfer, but one of the biggest was PCC. While writing this, I went through my Facebook messages and found no fewer than 5 messages from Lori between October 2009 and January 2010 asking if she could help with the decision. I got similar messages from other PCC members as well as in-person conversations. The conversations were never, I want you to stay, or this is why you should stay. Rather, is there anything I can do to help make your decision? This was pretty important to me because it showed that everyone here really cared about what I should do and not what they wanted me to do. And whether you like it or not, I've stuck around for the last 2 years. I think my favorite thing about PCC is the eclectic group of people. This is the only group of people I've ever been in where I can go from talking about signal processing with Jeff to Hellinger shoots with Rachel on the same day, as I did a couple weeks ago. But I have to admit, the only part of the conversation I understood was Sal, was my folks to me. And even though most of us in PCC identify as Christians, our theological beliefs are varied enough that a conversation about any topic can become interesting and engaging. Okay, so now I would like to give a couple thank yous. First to Chris. Thank you so much for not only the great organ and piano playing, but also for all the time you put into PCC. Putting together the Christmas choir, Easter rehearsals, and giving your interesting lecture this spring really means a lot to me. I'm sure it does to PCC too. I'm not sure I'll be able to find a church in the future with an organist not only as great a musician as you, but a great person as well. Lori, thank you so much for all that you've done for me and for PCC. I feel like I can speak about anything with you, and as you know, I often do, so. Being a first-generation college student and the first person in my family to graduate from high school, there are only a couple of people that I've been comfortable talking with who have been through the academic ringer like you have. So thank you so much for every time I come into your office and ask if you have a couple minutes. To everyone in PCC, both new and veterans over there, thank you for being there every time I need to talk. I've really enjoyed getting to know you all for the past few years. I do regret not knowing some of you, but I'd love to keep in touch with all of you over the summer and after we all leave the university. And because I don't live too far from here, maybe I'll be back in the near future. Thank you. Good luck on finals and your papers and projects and all that stuff. And have a great summer.